Darkness hummed inside his room. The only light came from the soft glow of a computer screen. A boy sat still, his face lit in pale blue. He was only 15. His name was Jonathan James. Online, they called him Comrade. Everyone else saw him as an ordinary teenager. Quiet, thin, unassuming. But behind the screen, he was something else entirely. His fingers danced on the keyboard like they were born for it. Lines of code streamed past his eyes. Windows opened and closed in a blur. And somewhere, miles away, servers trembled. Jonathan wasn't just browsing the internet, he was crawling through its veins, mapping the unseen arteries of government networks, slipping between firewalls like a ghost. He had no weapon, no crew, no money, just an aging computer, a dial-up connection, and a mind sharper than steel. At first it was small, a security camera system here, a school server there. He would poke, observe, vanish. No one noticed. No one ever thought to look for a child. But curiosity is hungry, and Jonathan's hunger became obsession. He wanted to see how far the rabbit hole went. One night he traced a data path deep into a secure military network. The logo of United States Department of Defense flashed on his screen. His heart stopped, then raced. He was inside. Encrypted directories opened like unlocked doors. Usernames, passwords, secret documents. Every nerve in his body screamed. One wrong command, and alarms would roar. But there were no alarms, no guards, no shadows of suspicion, only silence. He smiled and kept going. Soon he discovered an internal mail server. It belonged to the Defense Threat Reduction Agency. Inside were confidential emails from high-ranking officers, plans, protocols, logins. Jonathan copied them all, not to sell, not to destroy, just prove he could. It was a game he was winning, and then he saw it, a gateway labeled NASA. For a moment, he froze. Even he knew this was different. This was the fortress of fortresses, but temptation devoured fear, and fear melted into fire. He launched a simple exploit, one he had crafted quietly for weeks. A few keystrokes, a single breach point, and just like that, he was inside NASA. The system opened like a cathedral door, silent, sacred, unaware it was being invaded. He stared at lines of code that controlled the International Space Station, mission software, life support algorithms, everything. A chill ran through him. He could touch the stars from his bedroom. Jonathan downloaded 13 source code files. Software worth $1.7 million. Code that astronauts depended on to breathe. He stored it carefully on his drive, backed it up on encrypted disks, and then he slipped away. The entire breach took 3 weeks. No one noticed a thing until the lights went out. Suddenly, systems at NASA froze. Computers stalled. Emails died mid-transit. Technicians panicked. They declared a systems lockdown. For 21 days, their operations halted. They lost $41,000 just to clean the infected network. No one knew why. No one knew who. But Jonathan knew, and he was terrified. He realized he had crossed a line. This wasn't a game anymore. This was war territory. Still, he told no one. He stayed silent. Silent. While the world searched for him. The Federal Bureau of Investigation activated their cyber division. So did the United States Department of Defense. They chased phantom IPS across continents. They traced shadows through cyberspace. And then a flicker. They found a weak connection logged from a small Miami suburb. A house? A single phone line. The FBI tightened the noose. Jonathan didn't know yet. He kept exploring, testing, wandering through hidden networks, but the silence around him was ending. Agents were already watching. They tapped the line. They mapped his keystrokes. They built a silent cage around him. And one morning, it snapped shut. Black vans rolled up to his street. Boots hit pavement. Doors slammed. The FBI stormed his house. Guns drawn. Voices thundering through the walls. Jonathan froze. His parents screamed. They dragged him from his chair. Hard drive cables dangling like ripped veins, and a boy, 15, handcuffed. The FBI stared at him in disbelief. This child had hacked NASA. This child had breached the United States Department of Defense. News outlets exploded with the story. Teenager breaches Pentagon. Jonathan sat in silence. His world collapsed around him. But it was only the beginning. Because the real fear was what he had seen inside.
Well, my name's Jonathan James, and I've been in Montana for about 10 years.
They locked him in a small interrogation room. Cold. Dimension. An agent slid a folder across the table. Inside, printouts of the stolen code. Pages of intricate commands and cryptic strings. "Do you know what this is?" the agent asked. Jonathan's eyes flickered. He said nothing. That's life support software, the agent said. You could have killed astronauts. The words crashed into him like stone. His chest tightened. He had only wanted to see, not destroy, but intent meant nothing here. Only impact. They showed him more. Emails from the Defense Threat Reduction Agency. Defense network maps from the United States Department of Defense. Access logs from NASA. You shut down NASA for 3 weeks, they said. You breached the Pentagon's walls. Jonathan's hands trembled. For the first time, he felt the full weight of what he had done. The agents left him alone. Hours passed in silence. The room buzzed like a dying machine. Finally, they returned. They offered a deal. Confess, cooperate, and they'd go easy. He nodded, exhausted, broken. He told them everything, every exploit, every command, every moment he had tiptoed across their invisible fences. They dismantled his world piece by piece. They took his computers, his disks, even the cables from his desk. Outside, reporters swarmed. Neighbors stared. His friends vanished like smoke. The boy who had touched the stars was grounded forever, but fear didn't fade from the halls of power. Because Jonathan had revealed a horrifying truth. If a 15-year-old from Miami could walk through NASA and the United States Department of Defense, anyone could. Cybersecurity chiefs panicked. They rewrote policies overnight, hired waves of new analysts, built digital walls 3 times thicker. But deep down, they knew. Walls don't stop ghosts. And Jonathan had been a ghost. Breathing their secrets like air, his life slowly unraveled. He left school, stopped answering calls. But he never escaped the label they gave him. Criminal, hacker, threat. He lived in the shadow of his own brilliance. The world had made sure of it, and then he disappeared. For years, nothing. Until one quiet May morning in Miami. Jonathan James, Ciro Umraid, was found dead. Only 24 years old. A note sat on the counter. Simple. Final. He had taken his own life. Shock tore through the hacker underground, through the silent halls of NASA, through the fortified corridors of the United States Department of Defense. The boy who once breached the heart of America's cyber fortress was gone, but his shadow remained. Every network admin still whispered his name. That power can be stolen. Not by armies, not by governments, but by a child. Alone in the dark, with nothing but curiosity and a keyboard. Even today, some claim he's not truly gone. That fragments of his code still lurk in forgotten corners of cyberspace. Silent, waiting, watching. Others believe he left behind a hidden message. A buried signature deep in the stolen International Space Station code. A ghost mark that no one has ever found. Maybe it's myth, maybe it's real. But one thing is certain. Every locked system still fears the whisper of his name. Jonathan James, Ciro Umraid, the boy who hacked the sky and vanished into it.